nobody understood me. Yeah. Product of the city, kept it solid like it
So it was the
should be.
1-3 game, and we had the $6 mandatory straddle on, and I was in that straddle, and we were deep at this point in the day. I had 2850 in my stack. The main villain in the hand ends up having around the same stack.
Okay.
So the villain, he's in the cutoff, and he's got maybe a little bit more than me. Maybe let's say he had 3K. He opens to 20 from the cutoff, and everybody calls in front of me in the straddle, and I have 7-6 off, and I feel like I just have to call. What do you think?
100%.
I mean, I could squeeze, but whatever. I don't have any blockers.
Don't squeeze.
Who cares?
With 7-6 off? Don't squeeze with
Yeah.
7-6 off.
The villain is a guy, by the way, who I haven't played with much. I don't know much about him. I don't think he's a pro, but he's not like completely incompetent or anything either. That's about all I got on him. And so we have like a lot of players in this pot. We have the cutoff, the button, the small blind, the big blind, and me. The flop is 7-6 deuce, 7 of hearts, 6 of diamonds, deuce of diamonds.
Damn.
And I have the 7 of diamonds and the 6 of hearts.
Okay.
So pretty good flop. We all check to the original raiser. He bets 45, which is pretty small. The button calls and the small blind calls. Obviously we're raising.
Yes.
How do you want to size it?
There's he raised to 20 pre-flop, is that right?
Yep.
So there's 100, there's 100 in the pot, and then there's like 250 in the pot, or 235, I guess.
Yeah.
He makes it 45. I mean, I think it's 7-6 deuce rainbow, right?
Yep. With no, there's 2 diamonds.
Oh, 2 diamonds. Oh, okay. I think we should go pretty big then. Like, I want to charge the flush draws a lot, and so it's fine if they fold, and it's fine if they call because they're paying a lot for it. I don't want to price them, make it a good deal for them. So, if there's 250 in there, I think we should go like 210, something like that. 220.
I went bigger.
Oh wow,
I went 250.
Cool.
250.
Great. So you went full pot.
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
I like it.
I typically use. I hope that all of my opponents aren't watching. I don't care. I typically use bigger sizing when we're deep. Just
Sure.
makes more sense. And we are very deep, obviously. The raiser calls and everybody else folds.
Okay, so that tells us a lot about the raiser's range right away, right? The raiser has.
I think
I
put him on an overpair a lot. I put him on a lot of overpairs. I think that's one of his most frequent holding. I think if he had a set of deuces, I would hear about it right now.
Yeah,
most of the time.
I wouldn't worry about a set of deuces. I mean, obviously you can have it, but I feel like it's nut diamond, it's diamond draw, or it's overpair, and that's it, right?
For you would think for the most part. There's one other bugaboo that's going to come in on the turn.
Sure, there's the 8-9 of X.
Yeah. So the turn is the 5 of spades.
Right.
So 8-9 gets
go.
there. I don't think 3-4 is there, so I'm not worried about that. But 8-9 gets there. It's not a diamond. That's good news.
Yep.
How do you want to proceed here?
Okay, I think we should bet for sure. We want to still get value from overpairs, which can absolutely call because they can put us on diamonds. That's very reasonable. We want to charge diamonds still as well. We have more 8-9 than he does. I don't think we need to bet huge. Like, our opponent can have 8-9. The nuts have changed, but I think we should bet. So I think betting like 300, something like that, is a good idea.
I considered that.
Yeah,
I considered that, and I ultimately ended up on check because I thought I didn't really know what he was going to do with overpairs, but I thought he might bet overpairs.
Yeah,
I wasn't going to check raise because it was more just like I think he might check back overpairs and I can get value on the river. I don't expect ever to get 2 streets of value from overpairs here on the turn and river. I don't think that's ever really going to happen. I am also a little bit scared of the 8-9, and I want to see sizing. Like, this guy is a relatively, I don't know a lot about him, but he's relatively passive. I really kind of think he's checking back overpairs a lot of the time. And I'm not entirely sure what he's doing with diamonds. I don't really know. He might check back diamonds. I'm not really sure.
I mean, you're taking it. It's hard to put you on a very strong hand when you check this card, even though he can have 8-9. From his point of view, when he's got 2 jacks and you check, it feels like two jacks are mostly ahead, right? And it's like you have diamonds and you're like, okay, I don't want to just light $500 on fire into an overpair that's never folding. You know, that's what it feels like is happening from his point of view, I would think mostly. So he might choose to bet an overpair because of that as a result too. Yeah, we're obviously not going to fold, right, if he bets.
No, but I checked and he like so comfortably bet 600. It's a big bet.
Yeah.
And you just know when the guy looks super comfortable, and you know he's not like a pro, so he's not like really good at hiding everything. So I was concerned, but I felt like my hand was too good to fold.
Your hand is too good to fold.
So I called.
You have.
And I like really hated it. I was like, please just bring a 6 or a 7. I really feel like I'm losing. Please bring a 6 or a 7.
Okay.
The river is the 10 of diamonds, and we have like 2K back effective. And my only thought process was, is it possible that I could get him to fold 8-9 here? Because I could have diamonds, and I don't think he's comfortably betting 600 on the turn with diamonds. I just don't think this guy has diamonds anymore, and I don't think he has an overpair anymore because he was so comfortable. Like, so if you look at this on paper, it's very different than being there, right? Like, I just it felt like the guy had 8-9 a lot of the time.
So he has like 8-9 of diamonds, 3-4 of diamonds, or he's going to hate that card.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much. And yeah, of course, 8-9 of diamonds is a major concern. It would not work against 8-9 of diamonds. So I really considered shoving, which would be very high variance and like obviously only getting called by better hands. I think folding out over pairs.
I believe so.
I tank and I check, and he snap checks back with 9-8 off.
Yeah.
So he had it, and I just think it's like an interesting hand because on paper it's like you can put him on a lot of things on the turn, but really there live is like, oh, this guy has it, you know, which makes me want to make unconventional decisions like lead shove the river, just like because he'd just be concerned that I would have diamonds and fold. He even said like I hated that river card and just turns his hand over.
I mean, let's talk about it a little bit more though. If you're that, I mean, it's weird when you're better at live reads than I am, so your level of confidence in these things is higher than mine would be, right? My confidence would be like, oh, I feel like he likes his hand a lot here, but that doesn't mean to me he doesn't have aces, you know, in my mind when he bets, you know, and when I check there on the turn, I would think like, oh, aces just are betting very comfortably to like charge my diamonds or something like that.
I feel like this guy would have like, there's a lot of little mini things he did, and this is like getting deep into it, but like he bet relatively quickly. He seemed very comfortable. He bet a large size. All of these things, I feel like this guy is going to take longer with aces, really like convince himself that he should bet aces, and he's going to bet smaller, you know? It's going to be different. So to what degree did you feel like on the turn he had a straight before you put that $600 in? Like how high was your confidence level? I don't know. I would say 50 to 60%.
Okay.
Pretty high.
I was going to say if it's super high, then like maybe you can find a fold is what I'm saying. Like that is, to me, that feels like I could not find that fold there.
I mean, I do trust my live reads. You're right, but I don't trust them enough to like completely throw theory out the river. Like throwing away top two there just feels crazy.
All right. Well, listen, then in that case, you should not be jamming the river. If you think he's 50% or 60% on the turn to have the straight, nothing has changed when you check the river, right? Now, half the time he's got you beat, fine. By the way, another chunk of the time he does have diamonds, and then the rest of the time you're winning, and he's just going to check back and you're going to win, right? And
so, like, maybe my confidence is higher than my confidence is higher than I said about certain things. Like it was just 50 to 60% that he had the straight, but my confidence was quite high that he didn't have diamonds actually, based on how he played the turn. It felt like more like 90% he didn't have diamonds, which is why I considered.
He also has to fold that straight on the river.
I know. And I mean, like, this is a guy who he plays the bigger games. Sometimes this is one of the bigger games in the room. He doesn't usually have 3,000 in front of him when he does. Most people don't. He's not used to that spot. He's not going to like it. Like, it's a super high variance play, but I think it's going to work an outsized amount. And I think I should have considered it a little bit harder, honestly.
Last question on this. If you're going to make that play on the river, do you need to go all in, or is there an amount you can bet that's really big that saves you $500 or something when he calls?
That's a good question.
That still gives you the same fold equity.
That's a great question. I think you're probably right. I could bet like 1,200 instead of the 2K.
It's going to look
have
awesome either way.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. If I'm going to make this like theoretically disastrous play and turn this very good hand into a bluff, which you're like on paper, again, really not supposed to do, but just I felt like I was losing and that he didn't like that river card.
Yeah.
But I didn't pull the trigger. That's a hard trigger to pull, especially out of position. But I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. So I lost a pot.
You might have lost it anyway.
Secrets deep inside, looking for answers, let me know. Pain in my eyes, vision blurry. Peace in my mind, don't worry. You need a direction.